Haute Couture. The term floats on the air like expensive perfume. It conjures images of shimmering gowns on red carpets, of royalty of runways, and, well, of price tags that seem to belong to another universe entirely. But what does it truly mean? It's more than just a fancy French phrase for expensive clothing. It is actually a legally protected designation, a standard of excellence that's guarded by the French government itself. To be called Haute Couture, a fashion house must meet a strict set of rules. They must design made-to-order clothes for private clients. They must have an atelier in Paris, employing at least 15 full-time staff. And they must present a collection of at least 50 original designs to the public twice a year. Step away from the glittering runways and the flashing cameras. Push open an unmarked door on a quiet Parisian street. Here, you will find the atelier. This is the workshop, the studio, the soul of any haute couture house. The air inside is different. It is thick with concentration, yet calm. There is a soft, rhythmic hum, the snip of scissors through silk, the gentle murmur of artisans. Who are these people, these petites mains, the little hands, who quietly bring the grand visions of haute couture to life? They are the silent partners to celebrated designers, the keepers of an ancient craft. While the runway dazzles, the true magic begins here, in the hushed sanctity of the atelier, with the movement of a hand guiding a needle. They are not factory workers. Forget the roar of machinery or the anonymity of a production line. The atelier is another universe entirely. It is a space defined by quiet concentration, the soft snip of scissors, and collaborative voices. Here, time slows, measured not in minutes, but in the patient application of skill on a singular creation. Each person in the atelier has a specific role, a skill honed over decades. The workshop operates under the premier d'atelier, the head of the workshop. This master artisan is the vital link between the designer's sketch and the team, translating a drawing into three-dimensional reality. They conduct this orchestra of specialists, ensuring every detail aligns with the vision in a collaborative ecosystem built on perfection. The atelier is divided into fleur and tailleur. In the atelier fleur, seamstresses master the soft and ethereal. Working with delicate fabrics like chiffon and organza, they are experts in draping cloth into poetic folds directly on the mannequin. They construct the garment's foundation with invisible stitches, creating seams that are felt but not seen. Then there is the atelier tailleur, where structure and precision reign. Here, the tailors are the architects of couture who can mold a stiff fabric into a second skin. This is not sewing, it is sculpture. They build the garment from the inside out, using layers of canvas and padding, all hand-stitched to create a flawless silhouette that appears effortless but is born from immense internal complexity. And then there are the specialists, the masters of the métier d'art, whose embellishments transform a garment into art. There are the brodeurs, the embroiderers. Using a Luneville hook or a needle, they paint with thread, beads, and crystals, spending hundreds of hours creating shimmering landscapes of sequins and intricate patterns of pearls. There are the plumassiers, the feather workers. They are artists who work with one of nature's most delicate materials. Feathers are sorted, dyed, and applied one by one to create a surface that can mimic fur, a cascade of color, or a weightless texture that moves with breathtaking grace. And the peruriers floraux, the artificial flower makers. From silk and velvet, they conjure eternal blossoms, each petal cut, dyed, and shaped by hand. We also find the plisseurs, the pleaters, who use cardboard molds and steam to give fabric a permanent dynamic memory. Each is a master in their own right, a guardian of a precious legacy. For generations, they worked in small, independent workshops scattered across Paris, often family businesses with secrets passed down. Today, while some remain independent, many legendary ateliers have been acquired by the major couture houses, a vital act of preservation, ensuring these irreplaceable skills are not lost to time. The journey to becoming one of these artisans is long and demanding. It is a path of apprenticeship, not just formal education. Skills are not learned from a book, they are absorbed through years of patient observation. An apprentice may spend their first year perfecting a single stitch. Only after demonstrating immense patience are they entrusted with more complex tasks, learning at the elbow of a master. This is more than a career, it is a calling. To truly understand haute couture, you must listen to the people who make it. You must have a passion for this work, says a première d'atelier at Chanel, her hands still moving over a tweed jacket as she speaks. The designer gives us a drawing, a dream. Our job is to find a way to make it stand for itself, to give it life. Sometimes we must invent a new technique just for one dress. It is a puzzle. We work for weeks, sometimes months, solving this beautiful puzzle. When the client finally puts it on and she smiles, that is our reward. Each great haute couture house is a kingdom, its own history, its own language. At Chanel, Coco Chanel's legacy is in every stitch. Chanel Atelier, famous for tweed. An artisan takes a single piece of tweed and painstakingly unravels it, making fringe, making braids. Venture into the house of Dior, and you enter a world defined by Christian Dior's new look of 1947. Dior's Atelier Flou are masters, creating romantic feminine silhouettes. At Schiaparelli, Elsa Schiaparelli's surreal playful spirit endures. The ateliers here are not afraid of the bold, the avant-garde, the witty, the sculptural. These traditions are the DNA of each house. They guide the hands of the artisans. The most precious ingredient in any haute couture garment is time. In our modern world, time is a currency we are always trying to save, to speed up, to cheat. We measure our lives in efficiencies and shortcuts. But in the hushed ateliers of Paris, time is not an enemy to be conquered. It is a medium, like silk or thread. It is an element to be savored, stretched, and poured into a creation with devotional patience. It is a luxury that fast fashion, with its relentless cycle of production and disposal, cannot comprehend, let alone replicate. The fast fashion model is built on speed and volume, churning out millions of garments designed to be worn for a season and then discarded. It's a world of humming machinery, frantic deadlines, and a disconnect from the human hand. Couture is the antithesis. It is a deliberate act of rebellion against the ephemeral, a commitment to creating something singular, personal, and enduring. The journey begins not with a needle and thread, but with a conversation, a quiet meeting of minds between the client and the artistic director. This is far more than a simple fitting or a transaction. It is a deeply personal exchange, an exploration of a woman's identity, her desires, her role at the event the garment is for. They discuss silhouettes and colors, of course, but also moods, memories, and dreams. In this intimate dialogue, the client is not just a customer. She is the muse. This initial consultation is the seed from which the entire garment will grow, a blueprint of emotion and aspiration. From that conversation, the designer translates feeling into form. The first sketches are born, fluid lines on paper capturing the essence of the idea. But a sketch is just a whisper. To give it a voice, it must become three-dimensional. This is the purpose of a prototype of the garment made from inexpensive cotton muslin. This is where the true architecture of the dress is engineered. It is fitted directly onto the client, often multiple times. Here, the designer and the head of the workshop sculpt the fabric, pinning, cutting, and marking with chalk. A millimeter here, a slight adjustment there. Each change refines the silhouette, ensuring it moves with the body in perfect harmony. From that initial sketch to the final stitch on the finished piece can take anywhere from 150 to over 6,000 hours. This is not an exaggeration. It is the reality of handmade perfection. These hours are the collective effort of a team of highly specialized artisans known as the or little hands. There are the specialists for soft draped garments and the experts for structured suits and coats. Each person is a master of a specific craft passed down through generations. Their patient, expert labor is what separates couture from all other forms of dressmaking. It is a testament to the belief that some things cannot and should not be rushed. The time invested is a declaration of value, a commitment to creating an object of true and lasting beauty. Consider a seemingly simple day dress. In the world of couture, this dress might require 200 hours of work. Why? Because perfection is found in the details you may never see. The buttonholes alone, stitched by hand with silk thread using the precise stitch, could take an artisan an entire day to complete perfectly. Hems are not simply folded and sewn, they are meticulously hand-rolled into a finish so fine it's like a whisper against the skin, allowing the fabric to drape with unparalleled grace. Even the internal seams are masterpieces of construction, often finished as beautifully as the exterior, ensuring the garment is flawless both inside and out. Now, imagine an embroidered evening gown. Here, the hours stretch into the thousands. This is where the couture ateliers collaborate with legendary embroidery houses like Lesage and Montex. A design is transferred onto tracing paper, its outlines pricked with a needle. This pattern is then laid over the fabric and pounced with powdered chalk, creating a faint guide for the embroiderers. Using a special Luneville hook, they work from the reverse side of the fabric, never seeing the front, stitching on beads, crystals, and sequins with breathtaking speed and precision. An iconic Dior gown, like the one Jennifer Lawrence wore to the Oscars, required over 800 hours and a team of artisans. A Chanel wedding gown, the finale of a collection, can easily surpass 2,500 hours of meticulous work, with every single feather, pearl, and crystal applied by hand. This is time as an act of devotion. The hours are not counted as a cost, but as a measure of dedication. They are woven into the very soul of the fabric, transforming a dress into a legacy, a piece of history to be cherished and passed down through generations. It is the ultimate luxury, a moment of human perfection made timeless. We live in a whirlwind of fleeting styles, a world dominated by the relentless churn of fast fashion. In an age of $5 t-shirts and disposable trends, some might ask, what is the point of haute couture? The question hangs in the air, heavy with the scent of synthetic fabrics and the noise of overflowing shopping malls. We're encouraged to buy more, wear it less, and discard it without a second thought. Trends that once lasted seasons now vanish in weeks. Our closets have become revolving doors for poorly made garments, each one a ghost of a fleeting desire, destined for a landfill before its threads have even settled. This is the backdrop against which haute couture, with its deliberate pace and astronomical prices, can seem like an anachronism, a relic from a bygone era. Why in this landscape of mass consumption would anyone invest so much time, money and skill into a handful of dresses for a tiny, exclusive clientele? We're talking about thousands of hours of meticulous hand-stitching for a single gown. We're talking about fabrics woven with precious metals, embroideries composed of semi-precious stones and feathers, sourced and applied with the precision of a surgeon. The price tags are astronomical, accessible only to a few hundred people in the entire world. From a purely economic, mass-market perspective, it seems illogical, almost absurd. Is it merely an indulgence for the ultra-wealthy, a spectacular display of excess with no real-world relevance? The question is not only valid, it is essential. To understand the value of couture, we must first grapple with its apparent contradictions. But to dismiss it as mere extravagance is to look at a cathedral and see only a pile of stones. It misses the larger purpose entirely. To find the answer, we must look beyond the price tag and the runway spectacle. We must step out of the blinding glare of the fast fashion machine and into the quiet, focused world of the atelier. Here, fashion is not a product. It is a philosophy. It is a conversation between history, artistry, and the future. Haute couture matters today more than ever, precisely because it stands in direct, defiant opposition to everything that is wrong with the modern fashion industry. Fast fashion is built on speed, disposability, and exploitation. It depletes natural resources, pollutes our planet, and often relies on unethical labor practices. It devalues the craft of making clothes, turning skilled work into a race to the bottom. In this context, haute couture is not an indulgence. It is a rebellion. It is a powerful statement about value. It champions slowness in a world obsessed with speed. It celebrates human skill in an age of automation. It insists on quality over quantity. In this way, it acts as the conscience of fashion, holding up a mirror to the industry and reminding it of its own potential for beauty, integrity, and meaning. It is a powerful, tangible reminder that clothing can be, and should be, more than a disposable commodity. A couture garment is not meant to be worn for a season and then discarded. It is an object of art, designed to be cherished, cared for, and even passed down through generations. Each piece tells a story. The story of its designer's vision, the story of the dozens of hands that brought it to life, and the story of the person who wears it. When you see a vintage couture gown in a museum, perfectly preserved decades after its creation, you understand that you are not just looking at a dress. You are looking at a piece of cultural heritage, a testament to the enduring power of human creativity. But its role extends far beyond being a moral compass. In practical terms, haute couture serves as the fashion industry's research and development laboratory. It is a unique space, shielded from the harsh commercial pressures of ready-to-wear where creativity can flourish without compromise. Here, designers are not just making clothes, they are asking questions. What if a dress could be made from a new, bioengineered silk? What if we could 3D print embroidery that mimics the texture of coral? This is where the real innovation happens. New forms, materials, and techniques are born in the crucible of the couture atelier. Think of Christian Dior's new look in 1947. Its revolutionary silhouette completely redefined post-war fashion and influenced clothing for decades. These radical ideas don't stay locked away in an ivory tower. They eventually trickle down, adapted and simplified into the clothes we all wear. It may seem like a stretch, but the clothes you wear today were almost certainly influenced by a couture experiment from years ago. That structured shoulder on your blazer? It might trace its lineage back to the avant-garde experiments of the 1980s couture runways. The specific drape of your dress, even the zipper, first introduced to high fashion by Elsa Schiaparelli in the 1930s. All these elements have roots in the high-stakes laboratory of couture. It is the unseen blueprint for much of what we consider fashionable. Perhaps most importantly, Haute Couture is a guardian of human heritage. It preserves priceless artisanal skills that are in danger of vanishing forever. The world of couture is supported by a network of small, highly specialized ateliers, many of which have been in operation for generations. There are the who work magic with feathers, the who create breathtaking embroideries, the who can fold fabric into sculptural forms. These are crafts that cannot be learned from a book or replicated by a machine. They are passed down from person to person, from master to apprentice through years of dedicated practice. The couture houses provide the vital financial support necessary to keep these ateliers alive, ensuring that these precious skills are not lost to time. So, what is the point of haute couture? It is not just about dresses for a privileged few. It is a living museum, a vibrant laboratory, and a sanctuary for craftsmanship. It is the soul of fashion, a constant reminder of the human touch in an increasingly automated world. It is the dream of what fashion could be, thoughtful, sustainable, and deeply creative. In a world drowning in cheap clothes and fleeting trends, haute couture is not an anachronism. It is an anchor. It is a beacon. It is a dream worth protecting, because in protecting it, we protect the very idea that some things are made to last.